Jennie, thanks so much for joining us on your show.
Thank you.
Our first question comes from Julie in Denver, Colorado. She asks, how do you balance your softball, family, and faith all at the same time? With school, competitive softball, and church, my daughter finds it hard to balance all three.
It's definitely a juggling act, and it's not easy at times, but I think, your family and faith tie in as far as making everything work, and you just keep your priorities straight, which allows it all to fall into place.
All right, our next question comes from Tony in Boulder. He asks, what will it take for women's fast-pitch softball to be restored as an Olympic medal sport in the 2012 Summer Olympics in London and beyond?
Well, right now we've been told just to go over to Beijing and, play the best softball that the world has yet to see. So that's the plan for this next month. And then when we get back, I'm sure there'll be a lot of international movement as far as campaigning to get it back for 2016. But we're going to do everything in our power to get it back.
Violet has a question. She has a 14-year-old daughter who has played softball for the last 4 years, and she says you're her hero. Now, what would you tell an incoming high school student about playing a game that she loves and overcoming self-doubt?
Just practice. Practice builds confidence, and, softball has taught me so many things on and off the field, from teamwork to leadership to discipline, and I think if you give anything 110%, you're going to leave happy, and you're going to be able to look yourself in the mirror at night and smile. And that's what it's all about, is giving it your all.
Back to the Olympics, Jason from Littleton, Colorado asked you, Jennie, about winning a national title in collegiate softball. He wants to know what it's like comparing that to winning a gold medal at the Olympics.
Well, I think, you're talking two different things. It's kind of hard to compare the Olympics to college ball, but, winning a national championship was a dream of mine since I was a young girl, and we had 8 seniors that year, so to send them off to the national championship was pretty special. But then the Olympics, you're representing your country. There was no greater feeling than standing on that podium, seeing our flag raised, and hearing that national anthem play. It was everything and more, and it's almost hard to explain.
And another softball question. Jamie asks about her 12-year-old daughter who's been pitching since 2003. She has accuracy as long as the ball is pitched slow. How can I get her to gain speed and accuracy?
Well, I think, you got to go speed first, because it's hard to teach speed. I would say let her throw as hard as you can and then work on accuracy from there. But if you're constantly aiming it, it's going to be hard to go 100% accurately. So definitely let her rip it out, go as hard as she can, and then work on accuracy from there.
On the softball topic again, Frank asks about his 8-year-old daughter. He asks, at what age would you recommend that young girls start to pitch?
I don't know. I started playing when I was 5 and then started pitching when I was 8 years old. So I think, the sooner the better. I think the muscle memory is great as far as just being comfortable with what they're doing out there and the technique of fast-pitch softball.
Another question we heard from a lot of viewers, what would you suggest, if anything, for making sure those younger kids don't develop any lifelong injuries from pitching?
Well, I think just taking care of yourself, icing after. My father's invented the Finch windmill with shoulder exerciser, and I've been on that since I was 12 years old. Weights are a little scary for youngsters because their muscles are growing, so I would recommend maybe just body weight stuff, but more just specific sports stuff, and I think not overdoing it. Throwing every other day and giving your body time to recover.
And our last question comes from Courtney today. She asks about The Apprentice, and she wanted to know if Donald Trump intimidated you.
I'm not going to lie. Yes, a little bit. Just his presence alone on the set was pretty intimidating when everyone goes, Donald Trump's here. And it's like everybody just gets that much more tense. So there was a little bit of intimidation, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning on your show.
Thank you.